Hi everyone, welcome to week 7. So we are starting our poetry unit. This week you're going to read some selected poems, and I also have a handout for you that I want to make sure you read called Explicating a Poem. Kind of like we did for short fiction, we're going to focus this week on how to write about poetry and how to read a poem, and then next week we'll get into some of the poetic elements and devices that authors use. So, explicating a poem is basically like analyzing a short story. You're picking apart all of the pieces of the poem and then you're explaining what each of those mean, and you're giving an interpretation of what the poem means and what the author's message is in the poem. So, for this week, I have a few lectures for you, but less to read. How to read a poem, I go through really the details of reading a poem, which I think sometimes people don't really do correctly. So where to look for line breaks, where to look for punctuation marks, and how to read things a bit more smoothly so that you're not just reading to the end of the line like a typewriter or like somebody eating a piece of corn on the cob. You get to the end and then you go to the next, which is really hard when you read things incorrectly with poetry to determine what they mean because it doesn't make as much sense. Then I have a couple lectures for you about explicating a poem, and so I really detail 3 poems in particular, 2 with Richard Corey. First, the poem and then the song lyrics, and then a longer poem called My Last Duchess. So I go into those and what they mean, and I bring out all of the different elements. So your discussion forum for this week really is looking at those 3 poems rather, again, and kind of giving some of your opinions on those poems. And the next week, we'll get into some more of the literary elements, and you'll be doing some practice, kind of like you did for short fiction. So kind of repeating that pattern a little bit. So that's it. I hope that you enjoy them, and I hope that you get a lot out of reading them. Thanks, everyone.